Let's not forget our shallots. Let's not forget our shallots.
Welcome to Cooking at the Ravens. Sadhana's here. We're going to be doing sun-dried herb polenta today. You want to start?
Let's get going. So polenta is a really cool grain to work with. It is a coarse ground cornmeal. There's fine and coarse, but today we'll be using coarse. It's just before they grind it into a flour. And works really good as confetti too, if you want to like throw it at a wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done that. Shall we pretend like we're having a wedding with Sid?
Let's do it.
Yes, we'll throw it at Sid.
First we're going to cut up our onions and garlic. So we're going to heat up our pan and put in a little bit of oil just to coat it. In goes the red onion and shallot. Also add a pinch of salt, about a half a teaspoon, and half that of the pepper, so about a quarter teaspoon. Saute this for 3 to 5 minutes and then add your garlic and continue to saute for 3 to 5 more minutes. Once the onions have sauteed a while and they're translucent, go ahead and put your garlic in and continue to cook until the garlic is translucent as well. So now we're going to cut up our fresh herbs. Whatever you have in the garden or whatever looks good at the supermarket or even farmer's market. We have thyme, green onion or chive, basil, and parsley. So now we're going to add our polenta and continue to saute it until it's a little brown. It's going to absorb the flavor, a little of the oil, and then we're going to add vegetable stock or water. So we're going to put in 2 cups of polenta. Here we go. We're going to continue to stir that around until it starts to stick a little bit and it smells a little bit like popcorn. Then we're going to add double the amount of vegetable stock or water and continue to cook until all the liquid has absorbed. So we prepared this vegetable stock ahead of time. It was very simple, just by boiling a few vegetables with water. If you don't have time to do that, just buy a carton of organic vegetable stock from your store. So 4 cups going on in. We're going to simmer this until all the liquid is absorbed, and then at the end we're going to add in our herbs and our sun-dried tomatoes so that the color just holds in there and just really pops. So when it starts to simmer, we're going to continue to stir it because it can stick to the bottom of the pot and get kind of clumpy depending on how much you're cooking. So now that you see that it's simmering, just keep it moving around the pot with a rubber spatula, or you could also use a whisk.
The real thing you need to do is look for consistency. It is important not to pay so much attention to the time because you might be cooking it on a slightly higher heat than we are, or you might be at a different elevation. There are all kinds of things that affect it.
Now you can see that the liquid is absorbed. So we're going to add in our herbs, sun-dried tomato, and whatever else you want to throw in, like some red pepper flakes.
We're going to use sun-dried tomatoes, which were sun-dried or dried actually probably in an oven. So we soaked them overnight and we're going to chop them up and put them in here.
Herbs going in. Sun-dried tomatoes. Give it a stir. And my favorite spicy thing, some red pepper flakes. And then dry herbs work too, so we have a little dry thyme. We're going to put that in there. It has a slightly different taste than the fresh thyme. Continue stirring and folding in. And maybe turn down your temperature just a little bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom.
You can eat this polenta creamy like this, which is really nice. And sometimes what we do is we serve it in the fall with grilled mushrooms. Otherwise, we'll take this and we'll put it into a shallow sheet pan or into a loaf pan and make it a cake.
Let's show them how to do that.
Why not?
Let's do it. So now we're going to place our polenta into a bread loaf pan. What we've done is line it with first plastic and then some parchment paper. We're going to cool it down in the refrigerator and then cut slices out of it to serve it.
Notice it's not pink because she put the tomatoes in at the end. Now we're going to let this cool and before folding it up and putting it in the refrigerator.
So now we've chilled it down about 20 minutes and it's nice and cool, so we're going to unwrap it. And it's hardened up, nice and firm.
Let's slice it and show what it looks like.
Okay, so we're gonna slice it just like bread. From here, we're going to put it in an iron skillet and brown it up on both sides, or you could put it in your oven at a high temperature, like 450 or 500 degrees, and then brown it as well. Today,
our taster is going to be Maddie.
So what we've done is warm up and crisp up our polenta on the flat top. I put a little kale cashew sauce and a little of our cashew cream with some sauteed shiitakes. Mmm.
Oh, it is good.
Ooh, it's good.
Thank you for joining us. Like this video.
And subscribe to our channel.
Bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Who's a good dog? Who's a good dog?